Let's take a look at example 2 from the 3-3 notes. Example 2 shows that the graph shows the number of U.S. passports issued in 2002, 2004, and 2006. And here we see that the title of the graph is U.S. passports issued. Please recognize that our x-axis is the year, and our y-axis is our passports in millions. This is important to note that 5 passports or 7 passports weren't issued in 2002. This was 7 million passports. Please also recognize that this symbol shows that the graph skipped the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it picked back up with 5. Sometimes when our data is all towards the top of the graph, it will skip those numbers and show this break in it. A asks us to find the rates of change for 2002 through 2004 and 2004 through 2006. And I want to show you how to find this. Remember, our rates of change, we can use y2 or the changes in our y divided by the changes in our x's. And we know that we are finding the rate of change between 2002 and 2004. So I'm going to use those values, 8.9 and 7. Remember, our x values were the years, and I can write that down here. I'm taking the second minus the first. And our y values were passports in the millions. Now I'm still going to use 8.9 minus 7. I'm just going to remember that later I will need to convert that to millions. And I'm going to show that I'm dividing that rate of change. And 8.9 minus 7 equals 1.9. And 2004 minus 2002 equals 2. And when I divide those numbers, or you could rewrite this as a millions right away, knowing that these are millions of passports. You could write this as 1,900,000 divided by 2. Either way, you just have to remember that these were millions of passports. And here, if you wanted to divide this, or if you wanted to divide this and then make your answer into millions, we know that 1.9 divided by 2 is 9.5, and you can make that 9,950,000. Or we could divide it here and know that this equals 950,000. Remember, you can use a calculator right now. This 950,000 means that there were 950,000 passports on average issued per year. Let's take a look at between 2006 and 2004. Remember, our x values go on the bottom, the change in our x's, while the change in our y's will go in our numerator. And here in 2006, there were 12.1 million passports issued, while in year 2004, there were 8.9 million passports issued. And remember, we are dividing these to show the rate of change. And you can simplify this. I am going to encourage you to simplify this. 12.1 minus 8.9 leaves us with 3.2. While 2006 minus 2004 leaves us with 2. I would encourage you to then rewrite 3.2 as a million, just so you don't get confused with your answer. This is 3,200,000 divided by 2. And when we divide that by 2, we are going to get 1,600,000 for our answer. And this is the number of passports on average that the U.S. issued between the years 2004 and 2006. So again, finding the rate of change, we found our change in passports, and then we found our change in years for our denominator. Part B says explain the meaning of the rate of change in each case. And I had talked about this a little bit. Um, this 950,000 means that there were 950,000 passports issued per year on average. So on average, or we could say between the years 2002 and 2004, there were 950,000 passports issued per year on average. I want you to recognize that the rate of change is per year. It doesn't mean that there were this many issued in total, because we know that there were 1,900,000 passports issued. It was per year and it was an average. It does not mean that there were exactly 950,000 passports issued. I want you to recognize there might have been 1 million passports issued one year and 900,000 issued the other year, but it is an average. And we can say something very similar for this value that we got. We could say between the years 2004 and 2006, there were 1,600,000 passports issued per year on average. And you could also add in the US if you wanted to add more details. And then for C, it says, how are the different rates of change shown on the graph? And I want you to really recognize that this our 950,000 is between the years 2002 and 2004, and that is this chunk of the graph. And I want you to recognize that this 1,600,000 is this chunk of the graph between the years 2004 and 2006. And I want you to recognize that this number is obviously larger. More passports were issued between those years, and that correlates with a greater slope or a steeper line. While a smaller rate of change is a smaller slope. It's not as steep. This steeper slope shows that the rate that the passports were being issued was bigger. So pay close attention to which slope is steeper, and the steeper slope will be a greater rate of change. And we can type that for our response. That's drawing, sorry. The larger rate of change had a steeper slope or greater vertical change. And then we could also say that the smaller rate of change had a less steep slope. And so that's something you can pay attention to as we move on with other lessons. Please try out guide practice 2. It says, without calculating, find the 2-year period that has the least rate of change using this graph. Then calculate your answer to check. And this ties directly to the last question. The 2-year period with the least rate of change, look at the steepness of the slopes, and then find each of them to know that you found the right answer. Once you complete that, check with the key. Thank you for watching this video.